We're back here for PETstock's Human's Best Friend. Early in the year, we caught up with Sharni Norder and met her beautiful 3 adopted cats. She's now adopted a little puppy named Stickers. Let's go meet him. Sharni, last time we were here, you had 3 adopted cats.
Yes.
Now you got Stickers.
I do. Yeah.
Talk us through it. How did this happen?
Look, I'm just slowly getting a domesticated animal farm, really. I was seeing how many animals I could get. That I honestly thought, the first time we caught up, we were doing adoption month for PETstock, and I knew that I'd have to do some photos here and there, but I really thought that I'd get through the month without adopting an animal. But unfortunately, the moment that I saw him, I was having a photo shoot with him up outside the Collingwood Football Club and giving a big cuddle, and I sent a picture to my husband and I said, Luke, sorry babe, but I'm bringing him home.
So firstly, what did Luke think about that? And then what did your cats think about it?
Well, to be fair, I did end up asking him because it is important that both partners are on the same page if you're going to adopt a new child. And the cats, well, I had to ask them in a different kind of way because obviously I couldn't ask them in advance. But for us, we'd been looking at getting a dog for a while, and it was just about, what kind of breed did we want to get, what was going to suit our lifestyle. And so when I saw Stickers, I just knew that he'd fit into our lifestyle. Luke met him, loved him, and obviously with a rescue, you get a real feel-good experience about rescuing rather than going somewhere else and buying a dog. So for us, Stickers was found in the bush on the side of the road and had nowhere to go. So for us to be able to take him in, and such a beautiful dog, like you would never know that he was a street dog to start off his life, we feel very lucky to have him.
He's an absolute beautiful boy. What's the most important thing when bringing a new dog into the home with cats? How do you let them meet? Is there a process that you go through?
When I was introducing him to the cats, he was just a puppy, and animals are pretty good at knowing if there's a baby around, but I let them see each other first through a glass window, then I had the cats in a cage to introduce them, and then slowly I let the cats out of the cage so that they could give them a bit of a sniff. But to be fair, they weren't aggressive at all, which was really lucky. And then for the first week or 2 after that, I just made sure they were supervised. So if they were going to be in that same space, the last thing you want is the cat kind of scratching him, getting his nose, his eye, or anything like that. But I was very fortunate that I didn't have to worry too much, and now they get along great.
That's awesome. So for cat lovers out there, if they've adopted a cat before, what does a dog bring into your family that you might not be getting from a cat?
So I was really excited to get a dog because as much as I love my cats, I can't just chuck them on a lead and take them for a walk. And so, I can take Stickers down the horse paddock. Whenever I go for a ride on the horse, he comes along next to me. We can go down the beach together. We're pretty much inseparable, which is super fun. And whilst I love the cats, they do their own thing. But a dog loves you and loves that you feed it and just gives you a bit more love than what the cats do.
And what's the most thing that you would recommend to someone that is looking to adopt a dog?
The most important thing is just knowing that you've thought about it beforehand. You don't want to rush into getting a dog. They're a full commitment. They are like having a child. You've got to take them out to go to the toilet. So do you have time to walk them? Do you have time to keep them entertained? Do you have other animals that they need to get along with? So that way you can ask the foster parents, are they good with cats? Are they good with dogs? Are they good with children? And look, they'll have the answers to all of those questions, but it is important that you ask those questions. And, I would say sit on it. Sit on it for at least a month, if not 2 or 3, to make sure that it's the right thing for you.
So what does the adoption process actually look like?
So the adoption process for starting over Dog Rescue, who we got Stickers through, was that we got screened. So we had to fill out an application form. It had to include where we lived, how big our property was, do we have kids, cats, and also, what is our time like? Do we have the energy? Do I have enough energy to be able to take him for 2 or 3 walks a day if I need to? Or does someone need a quieter dog? And so they'll assess all of those things, and then they'll be able to tell you whether or not that dog is right for you.
What are some tips that the staff gave you when taking Stickers home to his forever home to, have a happy and healthy life?
It was so great. I actually couldn't go and pick him up, and so they dropped him off to us. And with that, they gave us the food that he had been eating. It's really important that they stay on the same food, and if you're going to change it, that you change it gradually. And they just let us know what his personality was like. And he does need people around all the time, and so they did tell me that he might fret for the first couple of days. Changing environment can be a massive move for them, and so just those things for me to look out for to make sure that he was okay in the first couple of days. His vaccinations, when they were due, whether they were up to date or not, so I knew which vet to take him to. They covered the first vet bills and the vaccinations for us, which is absolutely amazing. And then they just wished us all the best, but they also told us that we could contact them at any time if we had any worries, which was really comforting. If I need advice now, I head to the PETstock Adoption Hub to find out anything that I need.
Thanks so much for tuning in to PETstock's Human's Best Friend. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know all the pet owners and their beautiful animals, and I hope this series has inspired you to adopt different.